Hey everyone, Ruben here, Character Dog PDX. This here is question of the day number 12, and here it is. So we have a 4-year-old Doberman who more or less barks at dogs. We believe it's him wanting to play, but other dogs may take it as him being aggressive. We would like him to be more social with dogs and be better on the leash and calmer when he sees other dogs. So, the first part of this question, we would really say let's not focus on the dogs so much right away because it sounds like we got to work on some other stuff first. Working on getting them just to be calmer when you see a dog on the walk. That's something we want to work on, getting a good heel first, and just incrementally moving up from that. Depending on what kind of tools you're using, you need something to interrupt the dog from focusing on things. But that's, getting a good heel in place is a really good starting point. The other thing is, building impulse control. If a dog is barking at dogs on the walk, that's also a lack of impulse control. So finding ways to build that up. We do a lot of place work, which builds impulse control. Duration on place builds impulse control. When you go outside, having your dogs do downstays, all of these things work on building impulse control. Having that good walk in place helps build impulse control, and it also helps build the trust between the dog and you. So we would really focus a lot on getting that in a really good space first before we started thinking about tackling dog stuff. Now, the other part of this is you would like him to be more social with dogs, so we would want to clarify what does that look like exactly for you? Are you wanting your dog to play with strange dogs at a dog park? Because if that's the case, we wouldn't recommend that. Do you want him to hang out with your friend's dog? Okay, well, what about your friend's dog? Are they respectful? Do they listen well to their owner? If you did get to a point that you were letting them off leash to socialize, do you have control over both of the dogs to step in and advocate for everyone? If play's getting too rough, can you step in and get the play to stop? Because if you can't, that's going to be definitely a problem. That's a fight can break out from stuff like that because we don't have enough relevance with the dogs. We are definitely very much against meeting strange dogs. Socialization should be done very carefully with a solid group of dogs, even if it's just one dog. They need to be good role models for our dogs who maybe struggle with other dogs. And, it's not just putting them in the backyard, right? You can start slow with these things. And if your dog knows place and the other dog you're trying to introduce them to knows place, just have them be on place in the same room, coexist together for a little while. It helps take away the novelty of a brand new dog, and they start to just see each other differently. Then maybe you start taking walks with that dog. Now you're building pack mentality. They're working together, and you're also facilitating a positive meet and greet, even though they're actually not sniffing each other, because they don't need to. They can sniff each other from a distance, but it's going to put the ball in your court more than it is in the dog's court, because the dog is they're gonna either smell each other and be cool, or they're gonna smell each other and then not be cool, or they smell each other, they maybe play for a second and then it gets too rough and then they're not cool again. So the more structure we can add into that, the better the initial meet and greet is going to go. And so what I would advise is don't try to rush it. Take walks with the dogs, get them seeing each other differently and working with each other. That's what's really going to help your dog see other dogs differently. Maybe he had a bad experience in the past, or maybe his association with dogs from a little age is like, I need to play with them all the time, and now you're getting this frustration, leash barking. Again, that's all just like, hey, we need to take a step back and reintroduce what it means to be around a dog. Just because you're around a dog doesn't mean it's playtime all the time. And so, coexistence, like teaching them how to exist around a dog without having to rush up to them or be in their face or something like that, because his pushy behavior could set the other dog off. And what if the other dog is pushy? That's like, we just don't want that attitude, or I guess, to be in the air with dogs who are just meeting for the first time. So the more control that we have over the situation, the better, right? And again, these should be with dogs that and you trust, right? Not just the dog that's at the park that randomly shows up with their owner. That is not the dog that you want your dog to meet. It doesn't matter if that person with that dog says, oh, he's friendly. In my experience, most dogs are not under high levels of control. And most of the time, the decisions are in the dog's court, and a lot of the times dogs don't make very good decisions. And so we need to choose the right socialization partners for our dogs. And if you don't have that in your family, then okay then, right? Like, that's not that big of a deal. Your dog doesn't need to have other dogs to be happy. It doesn't. It really just needs you. Other dogs can just be icing on the cake, right? Every trainer that I've been to, they never advocate for meeting strange dogs. If for all the trainers that I visited, it's basically the same thing. It's like, oh, okay, I'm out at a park with my dogs off leash, and I see someone coming in. I might call my dogs into me close, so they're close to me, so I can see what these people are doing. If it looks like they're gonna reach to unclip the lead, I'm probably gonna leash my dogs up and leave, because I don't want to wait and see what this dog may or may not do. We've been in positions where leashes have fallen out of people's hands and dogs have rushed up to us, and we use a pet convincer to keep them back. But again, I'm not going to wait around and see what this dog may or may not do, because typically they don't have a very good recall, so they shouldn't be off leash anyways. But those aren't dogs that I'm going to let my dogs interact with. Okay, it's not a good situation. And so again, I pick and choose who my dogs interact with, and I'm going to make sure that they're under a high level of control as well, because I am not responsible for someone else's dog. That's the way it is. I'm responsible for my dog, and if they are out in a social yard, I'm going to advocate for everybody, but I would expect that the other person who's also in that yard with their dog also has a high level of control, so we can call them out of play, put them on place, or just stop the play and be done with it, and we can come in, and they're not trying to just keep on going, because if we don't have that kind of control, we're telling our dogs that we don't have that kind of control, that we don't have any control over that dog, and now they actually have to take control of the situation, right? And we don't want to put our dogs into that situation, because that can lead to a whole other set of issues, losing trust in us, losing trust in other dogs, and that all happens really fast, right? So take it slow, work on the basics, concentrate on that, get your dog ignoring other dogs first, and then, just pick and choose who's going to be a good candidate for your dog. Okay? So I hope this helps. We'll talk to you later. Bye.